I, just as a visibly disabled person, experience microaggressions in public all the time. Ableist microaggressions.
Really? I mean, I don't even know, sorry, I don't even know why I said really, but it's just because I think I'm coming to terms, and it was a conversation with Mama after hanging out with some of the players in the bully squad, and to me they're all adorable. They're like little Care Bears, and I was like, is my toxic trait that I don't see the bad in the world? And it's probably because it's helped me survive so much trauma. So I'm not surprised. I'm actually sad.
I mean, I admire that perspective, and there's elements of that I tap into, and I think that's why I get surprised sometimes, because if I allow the amount of ableist violence and harm to creep into my worldview, you would not be experiencing the me that I am.
MeMeCherry presents a series of fortunate events. Fortunate events. Fortunate events. A series of fortunate events.
Hello. Welcome back, everybody, to the latest episode of the series of Fortunate Events, a podcast brought to you by it's still me, MeMeCherry. Although, if you want to sponsor the show, it could be your name there. Sorry. And I'm joined today by...
It's me, Glamputee.
Reigning Butch Queen.
That's me.
Yes. Your reign is... How has been your reign?
It's been very surreal. It's, I'm so out of it in ways. I was calling myself Reigning Butch Queen 23 for maybe 3/4 of my reign. I'm Butch Queen 2024. So that's how I'm doing.
Yes.
It's I would say the post, the afterglow was just, I was on cloud nine. People in the queer community were so incredible, going to spaces and people just being so genuine and lovely, and I as a Leo, I don't mind a little pampering, some extra special treatment. So
you mean I'm a very important person in this room? Okay, thank you.
So I don't know, people were really cute about buying drinks or taking me out and stuff, but I think just to we can get deep at some point whenever you want, but
let's start now, baby.
Okay, love that. As
I mean, with consent.
Yes, we love intimacy. Yes. I, just as a visibly disabled person, experience microaggressions in public all the time. Ableist microaggressions.
Really? I mean, I don't even know, sorry, I don't even know why I said really, but it's just because I think I'm coming to terms, and it was a conversation with Mama after hanging out with some of the players in the bully squad, and to me they're all adorable. They're like little Care Bears, and I was like, is my toxic trait that I don't see the bad in the world? And it's probably because it's helped me survive so much trauma. So I'm not surprised. I'm actually sad.
I mean, I admire that perspective, and there's elements of that I tap into, and I think that's why I get surprised sometimes, because if I allow the amount of ableist violence and harm to creep into my worldview, you would not be experiencing the me that I am. But I say all that to say that it's just such a part of my daily Uber drivers, dates, friends, supervisors, lovers, family. It can come from anywhere, anytime. And it's not about how I see myself or what I'm putting out or how I want people to experience me. It's projections and this misconceptions, stereotypes, flattening. And so to be in the driver's seat, right, and have agency to put out art and say, this is how I want to be perceived. This is my story. This is my perspective. And to have that be how people were engaging with me first, right? Around I saw what you did and I really loved it. Even a couple months ago at Daytime Realness, someone stopped me and was like, I hope this is okay, but I've been thinking about my internalized ableism ever since your performance. And I was like, that's exactly what I wanted. So I think, yeah, that was like a huge part of the reign, right? Is like I wanted to
see, drag is powerful, people.
Yes, shake the table a little bit.
Yeah. Your Butch Queen package thing was incredible.
Thank you.
The Tigger number, iconic.
Thank you.
You called it an accessibility break in the middle.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Thank you.
With a capital Q.
Yes.
In the Queen and the Butch. And just everything. Your photo shoot with the flamingo is just so ethereal and gorgeous.
Thanks.
I love your flamingo concept. So let's I really want to get into your life and your accessibility, how you show up in the world and how the world shows up for you, and how maybe we can show up better for you. Yeah. But let's finish up the Butch Queen section. Yes. So talk to me, like, how was it preparing for a pageant like Butch Queen? Tell me about the preparation process.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a, como se dice, like a, not a bubble, but like you guys, it's like a
residency.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. So that was part of what drew me to Butch Queen, is that, I had competed in the Pillows pageant earlier in that year, which, like, shout out to Pillows. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mr. David.
Yes.
Like,
icons.
I know, one of my favorite parties. And I love, like, how family and, like, industry night that space feels. And it was
industry night. I like that.
Right. I think there was like a subtext of like, you're competing because you know you want to compete, right? And like, you're ready to do it. So it was very, these are the dates and we will see you then, and I tried and I did, and I had a great time. And also where I was at in my drag, like, I think having like investment or a container, that residency, like we checked in with Grace weekly, there were due dates, right? There's like that kind of structure that we've been talking about, that like as myself and all of the things that I do, and my like ambition can get very, very big. And so to have those checks and to have the timeline of 2 months really allowed like the type of drag that I like to do, which is very grand and big, to work with a whole team of people, to work with like Robin Simmons on my mix, and Hands helped me with that Tigger costume, and like it was such a big community of Ryan,
community for sure.
Community, my disability justice is all about interdependence. So I'm like, drag has been lesson after lesson for me to ask for help. Yeah. Right. There's so many drag performances where I've just sat like at home and just like worked myself into a tizzy because I'm like, I have to make this mix or this video and I don't know how to do it, and I'm trying, and it takes like so many hours, and then I ask someone for help on something different later, and they're like, boop, here it is, and I'm like, oh, I should just ask for help. Like, my pride is getting in my way. So to have that, to get to be alongside 8 other people who were talented in all their own regard, and like I feel like that mix of drag was really invigorating and compelling to remind, like, it was such a tangible evidence that like drag is such a spectrum, and so the idea of trying to like outdo somebody else is like a fraught thing. Like it's like it was just how do I do me,
the best version of you? Right, because I do like that about the Butch Queen pageant.
And so I think that was like what I was really excited to sit with and ask myself, and that was a lot of the inspiration behind the Tigger number, right? Like the wonderful thing about Tiggers is I'm the only one. It's like I've just it was flipping the pain of like feeling isolated as a disabled person in the drag community and being like, that's my power. Like I'm gonna do something other people can't do. What is only Glamputee gonna do? And people aren't gonna be like, oh, I've seen that before. Like, that like anybody could have done that. Like that felt very like a love letter to me and for people. So that's why I loved getting to do that.
Oh my God, yes. And you partner up really well with people, and you do these really grand numbers. When I also think of like a grand or what feels like a bigger than life Glamputee number is your bathtub number that I first saw at Rollin with the homos. And then I remember fast forward to me working Oaklash, and I'm working the festival. So I literally set myself 3 drag alarms and I made it to 2 of them. Florida Man was one of them, of course, because I love Florida.
Yes.
And then the Rollin crew, period. And the biggest clip that I took was of you because I'm just like fascinated. And you just hear me in the background like, yes!
I'm so glad.
Tell me, how do you even conceptualize that number?
Yeah.
And then how was it partnering up with people? Because you don't do that number alone.
No, right. Yeah. So a big like current in my drag is referencing pop culture. You know, I'm such a like movie, TV, just like that's where I swim. And so like pulling on those references and like flipping them or remixing them, like putting myself in them or imagining like taking that drag humor of just like taking it to an 11. So seeing something like Saltburn, which is like, you know, very in the moment, very like people were talking about it. I'm like, it's already
the font too.
Yeah. Yes. A shout out to Ambrose. Thank you for freehanding that, which I'm like, again, what
obsessed.
That would have taken me so long. So yes.
Same.
Yeah. Ambrose and Dusty made that like tub. And so I was just like, there's something about that scene that just like didn't go there, right? Like it was, you know, the whole like the titillating of it, but I'm like, no, but like let's just take it there. And so
we got a little tittle. We were missing the ing.
yes let's like active verb. So and that's like I think about songs, like I really love that song Bathwater, and so it's like so one-to-one. But then I'm like, okay, if we're doing like water play, like Rain on Me is there, but then also like Lizzo's got Water Me, you know, so it just all kind of came together. And I'm just so grateful for our drag community where I'm like, Vera at Rollin was such a perfect person to do that with for the first time because I was nervous. And you know, I like, it's me in my like, I feel like I spent so much time in Miami before I lived here, and I think there's like a part of me that tries to compel the weather to be what I want it to be. And so I'm gonna get drenched in this number, and then we're at Brooklyn Basin. I'm like, it's cold. Yeah, so to have Vera just confidently be like, oh, I'll get wet with you. Like, I think it just felt like that camaraderie was great. And so to get to do that with Mud at Oaklash was like, you know, it's just like Kings Forever. Like, I think that like marriage just works so well. And like Mud is my drag uncle. We love Mud here. So
friend of the pod.
Just like getting to play
with
with
chair.
Yeah. Oh, that's why I feel so good. I feel like the like sensuality, the play, like getting to have that's very also like Glamputee is like just the coy kind of like slutty, you know, wink wink nudge nudge, right? Like the whole bath of it all. Like it was,
and to pull it off at Oaklash.
Oh my gosh, what an honor. You know, like I just was thinking about Oaklash as an idea and like how long it's been around, but also drag itself is such a spectacle. So then to make a spectacle of drag is really impressive, and to make it accessible like to the public and just having it be so like almost like town square, just kind of.
There was also almost like a fishbowl effect to the way that the audience was set up. Yeah. And so I love things like that where like, you know, the idea also for Rollin and that pageant came from like the idea of not just skating, but like how do we do something else that's like on wheels. Ambrose had done like a wheeled box that previous year, so like that I think was still in my head. And I would love to hear how your Rollin debut went, because I know I missed it, but I still like for about 10 days after, literally every day I pulled up that video and watched it over and over and over again, because every time I perform, I've only performed 3 times, but every time I perform, I low-key black out a little bit. But I also, it's more just honing in. I don't even want to call it blackout anymore, because I'm sober actually now, and it's still blacking out. But now it's just like, no, I just hone in. Like I hone into like my partner, or I hone into like the audience, or I hone into the song. I'm honing into something. And it was just a dream. And I can see why people fall in love with performing. And there was also like a very community aspect to it. Yeah. I had my little T-boy minions, and then I had my hair bestie that was, you know, pushing and pulling me. And he was so cute. Enrique came over that earlier that day, and like literally the two of us spent like an hour in the garage just hitting it over. And I wasn't even warmed up, and I'm just hitting the splits over and over again in the garage. And my neighbors are like walking to their cars like, what the fuck is happening?
It's called drag. Look it up.
It's called drag. And it was a dream. And I pitched my next idea to Hammy.
Yes.
I'm hoping we can make that happen.
That sounds, I literally was listening to that episode on the way over. I'm like, that sounds hot.
Yeah.
Like, wherever that is, I will be there.
Oh, my God. And of course, because Miss Algorithm be algorithming, I think I definitely obviously want to do Miss Piggy, but like this kind of vibe.
Oh, yes.
This just came up in my algorithm.
Wow. That's a yesified piggy if I've ever seen it. Yes.
It's a Bratz piggy.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, and like I don't know if it's air or not. It's okay. I'm gonna pretend that somebody did it.
Yeah.
But I want to like bring that to life, and I want, again, I always see Hammy on the other side. Speaking of Hammy, and it wasn't in my notes, but it's fresh on my mind because you all performed together at Outside Lands.
Yeah.
Tell me about your experience.
So good.
Being a superstar, getting golf carted around behind the barricades.
Yes. We were living our Lizzo fantasy.
Oh my God,
You know, the bye bitch. Like that. I mean, Hammy, all my love to Hammy and their radiance and drag talent and excellence. And like it is funny to say as like reigning drag royalty, because I'm like, backup is the way to be. I feel like it's a very like underappreciated, like I have a mission.
Yeah.
It is to like uplift and center this person.
Yes.
Like I am here to accentuate. That is like very speaks to me. And so it's just like so fun to, you know, Cheetah, Mud, Hammy. Like that's my drag fam. Cheetah's my drag mom.
I love Cheetah.
Praise be to Cheetah. And so like what a dream, you know, to get to just be on stage and be goofy and silly, and like that's very my energy, the bounciness, like literally like just trying to create that infectiousness. So to get to share that and like be gifted that from Hammy was such a joy, and also like feels pretty nasty to reference our performance that I had not been to Outside Lands before. So it was very fun to be like, oh, my first time is because I'm on stage. On the bill. Yes.
I'm booked.
Yes.
She's talent. Did you get little lanyards and shit?
Yes. You know, I'm such like a magpie, so I like keep all of those things.
I love magpie. Yes. With your little nest, with your little trinkets.
Yeah, my like little shrines everywhere.
Yes,
yeah, totally.
I can relate. Okay, so we have a little bit of time left before we take our break.
Yes.
So talk to me. Let's get now into like the, you know, I want the world to know. So like, what do some of those because my toxic trait, I don't see it.
Yeah.
What do some of those microaggressions look like? Like, what are people doing, and how can people show up better for those that are visibly disabled around us?
Yeah. I mean, so one of the things that I like to remind people about microaggressions is that basically it's this idea that we have systems of oppression, right? Ableism, racism, classism, all those. And microaggressions are just pulling on a thread of that. So ableism, in a very rudimentary way, is just saying disabled people are not people, right? Or like are less than. Yeah. And so microaggressions, right, are just ways that people are communicating that broader thing. So I can certainly offer examples of what I experience, and I think what I want people to also think about is that meta thing is like what's actually happening is that people are saying like, you are not like me, right? So I am deserving of asking you this question. When people say to me, what happened to you? What happened to your leg? Right? It's like, well, when we break that down, what they're saying is I see something's missing, right? Or I'm assuming this should be there. And rather than stopping to say, how do people lose limbs? Right? It's not fun ways, you know. I can think of, they're a veteran, you know, cancer, traumatic accident,
sharks.
Right? Like sharks, right? It's a traumatic thing. All of the things that come to mind are all deeply traumatic.
Yeah, a flower didn't grow out.
Right. Right. I'm not giving you adventure time right now. Right. So the idea that people can't take that beat to say, I'm asking a stranger, right?
Something that could more than likely be very traumatic about their
yes,
life.
and it's like, it's
like somebody coming up to me and being like, so tell me about the time you got raped.
Yes, right. And it's like, I think what is jarring is that because there's the physicality of that, people feel,
and we live in such a physical world.
Right. People feel entitled to that information, right? Things like, history of trauma with sexual assault or, family abuse, like these kind of things are non-apparent, but because my body is like apparent, people are treating it as an invitation to be like,
because I noticed you said visibly disabled.
Right. And people with non-apparent or invisible disabilities also experience ableist microaggressions around, you don't look sick, or why do you need that seat?
Why are you always so tired?
Why are you always so tired? We got those people who are policing the accessible parking things, right? Of like, you were in a wheelchair, now you're standing, like all that stuff we got to avoid. So I think it's just trying to recognize the ways that we dehumanize disabled people, the ways that I'm experiencing that sense of entitlement, like my privacy is not my own just because my body's different. Oftentimes these interactions, people aren't saying hello. People don't know my name. It's very different if you and I are having drinks and you're like, are you comfy sharing with me a bit about your story, or like, sure, how you've navigated this, or we haven't talked about that. Is that something you're open to? Like that to me, there's consent, there's invitation. It's in the cadence of us getting to know each other, right? As friends, as community. But if it's, hey, why is your body like that? Right. That doesn't feel good. And the opposite can also happen in terms of spirit or energy, where there's like the inspiration porn, right? Or the, I was going to ask you
the other flip side. Do you ever get fetishized for it?
Right. They're like, there's people who I know are trying to say the right thing, or I know the intention is there, but they're like, it's so good to see you up there. Right. I'm so glad you're out here.
You're so strong.
Yes. Yeah. You're so brave. Right. So brave. And so I think it's hard because I know that the desire to offer affirmation is genuinely there. And I'm like, you don't offer that to other people. Right. Or what are you doing to change environments? So me doing this is not brave. Right. It's always kind of focused on, wow, thank you for doing that. It's like, I don't want that burden.
Thank you.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, how about you shift, start booking disabled people, make these spaces more accessible so that other performers, right, feel like encouraged or courageous to do it, so it doesn't fall on individuals. Like, it's that lack of systems stuff. People get so lost in the weeds that I think that's where these things are born from.
Yeah, I definitely can credit for sure my, because we're all learning and growing and get enlightened more on different parts of life along the way. And I credit Oaklash. Because it always has been one of Oaklash's tenets or pillars to represent trans, BIPOC, and disabled performers in the Bay Area. And sometimes it's performers, sometimes it's partners. And I've been exposed more and more. And me, having dealt with like my things along the way where like, there's abilities and disabilities that kind of come and go myself and my body.
Totally.
And excuse me, I'm negative, but child, that COVID,
the phlegm,
and the COVIDina is like, popping around here, and like
we are not post-pandemic.
No, as I like to remind people. And, I have people around me that are dealing with long COVID. Like, I feel so grateful that, in this bout, so many people around me were down for like weeks and like down for the count. And my booster, she was in there like, bing, 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 bing. And within 4 days, I was like, I'm cool. Yes. But then I have to like remind myself, I recorded with, it's in the bank. It'll come out, a dear friend from the Keith and the Girl community. And she's somebody that I know that deals with like chronic pain and chronic disability and more of the silent kind of, disability. And I'm over here babbling away about like having some gym crush. And I remember when I finished, I was like, oh my God, but I know you're so narcissistic and like so like not realizing who's across the table from you, that like, going to the gym every day is like not a thing for her. And I'm sure that like, it's just like, I have to remind myself also that like to open my eyes and look around me and like actually see who's like across from me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I love that you lifted up Oaklash as an example, because Oaklash, in my experience, also is doing it with such a spirit of like generosity and care and like community building. The feeling as a disabled person or doing disability culture work of seeing people bristle at the opportunity to like make things more accessible, or like buckle under the pressure, right? When it becomes this like, oh my God.
Or they do like the performative.
Right.
Like they rope off a section, but it's like,
oh
you know, where like people, where the performers are like coming and going. I
can sit, but I can't see anything. I think there's something to be said about providing access like that, recognizes that all body minds have strengths and needs that must be met, right? Like I'm quoting Patty Byrne there, and it really feels like there's a genuine desire to make things more accessible. Disabled people are part of queer community, right? Like all of that is creating a fabric of how to do it, and it's felt. It doesn't feel like a box that's checked or you know, things like that. And so that's also things like the access break, you know, that I included in my Tigger number is to kind of model, you know, just to turn the mirror around for a second and ask, why do there are so many performers that I can think of that can do a 5-minute medley top to bottom and look like they didn't even break a sweat. Yeah. Right. And I'm like, that's probably you on that treadmill lip syncing, right? Like, you know, that is skill, and I admire that. And also, like, why do we put people's bodies through that? Why is that the idea of, like, if it was more non-hierarchical, right? It feels like that's the pinnacle of drag. And I'm like, why not take a break? Yeah. You know, why not have like a breather or a moment? Because I've tried to do that number straight through when we were doing the mix, and it's like, it's really hard to do.
For me, it's like heels. Like I can't prance around in heels like I used to when I was in my 20s. So I wore my cute little ballet flats at Rollin. Well, we are, oh my gosh, I can tell this is going to be one of those episodes that we could be talking for hours and hours and hours, like it's coffee talk. But we've reached our first little commercial break.
Sponsorship.
Yes. Please enjoy this more than likely very gay break. Ding.
In my crumble opinion. Hi, I'm Phoebe Cakes, and you're tuning into In My Crumble Opinion. Hello, my little crumb whores. Hi, my little crumb dumpsters. Hello, my little crumb guzzlers. Welcome, my little crumb dumpsters. Hello, my little crumb guzzlers. Hello, my little crumb hungry sub pigs. Hello, my little crumb buckets. Hello, my little cum lovers. Oh my God, I said cum lovers. Hello, my little crumb lovers. Go ahead and like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow me on all social media platforms.
Oh my God, that was so gay.
Yeah, that was gay. Once again, I am Phoebe Cakes. In my crumble opinion.
And we're back.
Hi.
That was a nice little break.
Yeah. Little cookie break.
Yeah, back in the fluid days, I used to joke that we would make out on the commercial break. We got down. Mm-hmm. We connected.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like a spiritual makeout.
Yeah.
Okay, so no longer trying to be the most H-word podcast in the Bay Area.
I'm like, who holds that title then?
Crumble.
Yeah.
I will happily give it to Crumble.
Yes.
Which, by the way, book me. I'm trying to get on Crumble. Okay, so I have a cute little gamelet for you.
Yay.
Inspired by the iconic bathtub number.
Yay.
I have tub time trivia.
Okay.
And these are just going to be random tub time trivia questions.
Okay.
Name the pop star who performed a bathtub themed number at the MTV Video Music Awards in the early 2000s.
See,
and this number also had an animal, a very slithery, iconic animal. More people. I think more people were. I'm like, because I'm looking at the answer, I'm like, I think more people remember the snake than the bathtub.
Yeah. Was this Britney?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for the hint, because I would not have gotten it.
Yeah, because I was like,
Yeah.
ChatGPT, thank you for these questions.
Yes.
Which RuPaul's Drag Race queen performed a lip sync submerged in
Will
water?
No? I got too excited. Oh my God, sorry, embarrassing. This is my Jeopardy coming out. You can't see me doing this behind. Okay.
And scene.
Yes.
Which RuPaul's Drag Race queen performed a lip sync submerged in water during the lip sync Lollapalooza SmackDown?
Somebody was submerged in water. What? Do we know what season? Does it say?
I'll tell you the season. It was season 11. I don't remember. But I have goldfish memory. I do not remember this number. But it's season 11. And
I'm
it's
gonna was it Silky? I feel like Silky. No,
Brooklyn
that's
and Evie Oddly, Sorry Not Sorry, lip synced in water. I don't remember this. This didn't happen. ChatGPT made this up.
Yes. Yeah, slow down on those edibles, ChatGPT.
I know. You know what? Let's keep going.
I love it.
Let's see what else. Oh my God. Yeah, these are kind of like, okay. Which legendary drag performer is known for her elaborate underwater themed performance called Aquatic Eleganza?
I should know this, and I don't.
I don't either, but it's Dina Martina.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dina.
Which drag king performer made waves with a daring water-themed number at Austin International Drag Festival?
I'm failing my drag kings right now. I'm embarrassed.
You know, honestly, this is like,
Don't
again, well, this is more of a learning journey because we're all learning something.
Yes.
Landon Sider stunned audiences with a performance that involved an onstage rainstorm and dramatic water effects.
Oh my God, Landon.
Okay, Landon.
Wow, work.
Okay. In RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 2. What is this? They didn't dance in... ChatGPT, you are on some edibles.
You're doing Mimi dirty.
This is crazy. Okay, because okay, RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 2, who performed an iconic lip sync to Shut Up and Drive,
yes,
which is iconic, that involved ripping off their dress and dancing in water.
Well, I feel
they
like
didn't dance in
ChatGPT
water?
is in some multiverse that is like this is the water world of Tati and Alyssa doing that
because
lip sync.
Alyssa Edwards and Tatiana.
Yeah. Choices.
Yeah, you know what? I think we're gonna ChatGPT, you're fired on this one.
You know, I appreciate that because I was listening to Hammy's episode on the way over, and I too am very competitive. And I was like, what is Mimi going to trivia me about? There was a part of me that thought you might ask me like disability trivia, like about like, you know, disability civil rights people. And I was like, I'm about to embarrass myself on the internet. So
who invented the polio vaccine?
Oh gosh. Can we move on? I plead the fifth. Back to the tub trivia.
I feel like it was a lady. I feel like I remember having like a little cartoon book. It was like one of these lady scientists.
I have a biology minor, and this is very embarrassing.
Anywho, bodies, biology.
Was it Marie Curie?
I think so.
Okay, no. Let's move on. Let me not dig myself deeper.
My little science books from when I was little. So another iconic. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Take that moment.
Oh my God.
This is
Accessibility break.
Access break. Ting.
Okay. So I call it the ghost show.
Okay. Yes.
Please tell my audience again the real name of the show.
Yes. Twilight Aristocracy was a devised immersive theater show. Yes. Detour Productions.
Yes.
Shout out to Churonomi. Shout out to Sriracha.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Tell me about that experience. Because first of all, the iconic setting that you were in.
Yeah.
Like being there as the sunset was like so trippy and weird and amazing and gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then once the lights were down and you were like in the different rooms.
Spooky
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I remember at one point being in one of the rooms and it was like very dimly lit. And I blinked. And I could like see how the tables would reset up for like a wedding because I used to work weddings there. And then I blinked again and the room is empty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience.
It was incredible. I mean, if you, audience at home, have not seen a Detour Productions show, I cannot recommend enough. Eric and Kat hold such a like heart container that the like scaffolding of
Ooh, good.
oh
good
thank you Just the scaffolding of like, here's like, it's so clear to me as a performer within that space. This is where they are going to direct us, right? I'm going to be told like, we need this from you. Like this is their directorial vision. And then this space outside of that is where we get to play.
So it feels like you have big beats, but then in between you fill in the color. Okay.
Yeah, totally. And so to get to do this site specific performance at the General's residence up in the Presidio, like it felt
iconic.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a very intensive experience because we made that show in like 3 weeks. Like, and so, you know, it's, I think a lot of people for immersive theater often reference Sleep No More, which like I haven't seen. So, you know, I'll say that as like a, you know, a reference if people know it. But it really is for the viewer about just like being thrust into this immersive experience and trying to navigate for yourself. You know, what do you want to explore? What's calling to you? Where's your intuition? What's exciting? You know, all of the different performers. Like, to me, the metaphor that I was using for people is it just feels a really intricate cuckoo clock. Oh. You know, because we're all on these tracks.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you could have this map of like just
it's like you would come out of your little
right,
and then
it like disappear and you know like there's parts that you're not going to find us because we're not supposed to be found versus other kind of things. So doing that with again this like theme for me of being in community with other artists and you know people in that show, there were people who were you know spoken word poets and dancers and drag artists and actors, and so all of these different like modalities or specialties that are not my own, and so getting to like it's that just that abundance, right, of like, wow, rather than feeling in competition, I'm like, oh, I just gotta rise to the occasion, right? And so getting to play in that space and like go back, and it feels almost summer campy because we're just like hanging out all the time, and so I again like love mud. We got to be creepy, siren, kind of like witchy.
I didn't even recognize Mud at first.
Oh, I mean, Mud's makeup artistry always,
I mean, like, talk about a chameleon, like, for real.
Yes, truly. Like, blink and you will miss them.
Yeah.
Because, right.
Yeah.
So that was so fun to kind of, like, be especially in that space of, I wouldn't say we were, like, there was no subtlety, right? But like
subtlety was not a word I would use.
No, I mean, if you're using subtle with my drag, then I'm like, I'm not doing something right. But I feel like the story, the narrative of the piece, it just slowly reveals that over time, if you're following us or catching what we're doing, it's like we're like very clearly orchestrating a lot of the nefarious elements of it, and so it was just very fun to get to do that with Mud and like kick off the show with that like very sexy fun put a spell on you, and getting to like Mud and I had concurrent lip syncs right in our own space, so we got to develop these lip syncs, and so like I don't know, just energetically feeling that like Mud is doing their thing over here, I'm doing my thing here. That particularly that space was so valuable to me because again within how I'm trying to like develop a relationship to embodiment in my drag, so many typical like club at night spaces, like the performance space is just flat. Yeah. Right. It's just like floor.
Yeah. Or a stage.
Right.
Or usually a teeny tiny stage.
A teeny tiny stage, or like, you know, even Oasis having a big stage is still flat. Right. And so for me, I think what people don't necessarily consider is I'm now like trying to dance. I have to lip sync. I'm trying to collect tips. I'm on crutches. I'm balancing. So like it's a lot to do at once. And I don't necessarily feel literally balanced, and that can take away, like it's tapping a part of my brain that I can't focus on being present and performing and like having fun. Like it feels like effortful. And Chudo, in being like the incredible director that he is in that space, there are these like seats that were kind of sort of set up in the round, and so the way that like he literally was like, okay, this is where you're making a lip sync, like pick a song, make it, bye. Right. So like you just have that space, and the way that that's set up, I was just feeling really like, I don't know what I'm in it. Like this is kind of that same issue. So then I named that, and we moved these sofas to be almost like parallel bars, like in gymnastics. And so I was able to use those, and I wasn't using my crutches. I just kind of hopped around the room, and I used those to like lean and dance and like do kind of some more like dynamic movements that still read very much like in a performance. But I was less tripped up on like, where do I put my crutches? How do I collect tips? Like I'm just focusing on the performance.
The movement.
And that we did, you know, it was just that one weekend. But because I think we did that lip sync maybe 3 times in the show, and then we were doing pre-show ones. I think that weekend I got to do the lip sync maybe 11 or 12 times.
Wow.
So it almost felt this like little like tiny residency for that lip sync. Because I mean, you know, doing lip syncs like 3 times, it's like you can put so much effort into a performance, and then if you don't have an opportunity to perform it again, there's like a restiness or just like a detachment. Whereas I was like digging in, and I was like, okay, that movement did not work. Let's ditch that. Or like people really love that. Turn that up to an 11. And so you're just
you
like,
get to really dial it in.
it was really, just such a dream for me as a performer. Cause you know, otherwise you have to kind of like hustle in the Bay to be like, can I perform it here and here? And like, I want to, or like, that feeling that I'm also trying to unburden myself from, of like, oh, people are tired of seeing this number, right? Or like, oh, Alex is doing Midas Touch again, you know. And it's like, you know, that I think is a hard thing to grapple with around like, but I can't get better at something.
You have to think like comedians, like how comedians work their material, and then they go and film the special, but they've worked that material. I think that's most comedians. Keith Malley does it once a year, but
but I think that's also, you know, I mean, not to like, it's an easy target, but the like RuPaul industrial complex of it all, like, you know, I hear
such a great way to put it.
Right? Like I've heard people like Got Mick talking about getting flack for wearing outfits again, right? And they're like, or like ornate things that were signature on the show. People are like, oh, I've seen you wear that before. It's like,
well, you gonna see me wear it again, bitch?
Yeah. Do you know how much money I spent on that? Right. So I think that's kind of this
Laganja, that green one. She wore that shit, and she's still and like gluing it together when it falls apart, because you're gonna keep seeing me in my green little poofy thing.
And green is a great color, because if it's you know, if it's getting that wear and tear, we're not gonna notice. But I just I think I'm trying to like give myself more spaciousness, to just be like, you're gonna see it again. Like I need to practice this. I want to feel good about it. If I'm only doing like new numbers all the time, they're always going to feel kind of a bit raw, because I'm not. And
I ran to see that bathtub number because I had seen it before.
I
like
love
once
that.
I saw that tub, I was like, oh, I am not missing this one.
That's how I feel about it. I finally got to see Cheetah's Steve Harvey number, and I was like,
yes, when I got to see that at Pride, that was another one that you just hear me in the background.
Yes, truly.
I'm like the little drag mom.
Yeah. It's like, I love that. I think somebody mentioned like vaudeville also has that kind of like just doing the same performances. I love like a signature performance.
Yes.
And I want to.
That'll be me with Hot to Go.
Listen, tell me when, because I want some Krispy Kreme. I do not have a car.
I mean, book me. Book me to do Hot to Go, and more than likely there'll be Krispy Kreme donuts involved.
So we'll get you. I'll pitch you to Churro for Clutch. So yes, we'd love to have you.
Oh my God, yes. So let's dive a little bit more into representation. And I do feel like it's so important that we give underrepresented people as much of a voice as possible, because this world is out here run by cisgender white men. And I don't know if you see, but that's not what's here.
Not I, said the frog.
Tell me a little bit more about the drag community and the performance art community in the Bay Area. Tell me the highs and lows. Tell me how you've seen bookers and performers and producers, like your co-performers, show up for you. And again, I really want to drive home how we can do things better.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would be doing drag at all if I weren't in the Bay, right? Like there's such a nurturing, positive, like healing through line You know, I have referred to myself as a drag scholar in that I just like consume a lot of drag content. And so I hear people from different cities talk about how their drag culture is and like what all these little microcosms are. And it sounds like, you know, there's like drama and infighting and like scarcity and, you know, like just a lot of really intense gatekeeping, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm not naive. I know things like that happen in the Bay, and I'm really grateful that like that is not the prevailing flavor of my experience.
Again, I credit a lot to Oaklash, but I'm sure that it's just also the generational thing of like just the younger kids coming up that are just like a little bit more forgiving and allowing. But I have seen a difference. Like I've been in the Bay Area since 1995. I've been bopping around the drag scene for the last 15 years. And I would say that like in the last 5-6 years, there's just been this shift where people are more open to having other kinds of people on the stage.
Totally. And like having multiply marginalized people in seats of power, you know, is such a key ingredient to that. You know, I see different approaches to attack the same problem, right? Like I just shouted out, you know, subtly Clutch the Pearls is, you know, home base for me in such a way. And, you know, if, first Sunday every month, Clutch the Pearls, make everyone check it out.
I need to come out.
Yes, please.
Yes.
And November is Nip Slip.
Ooh,
so we're doing burlesque.
I'm definitely going for that one then.
Yes. And, but like Chudo and Mita book in a way and like center that party in a way where it's like very show don't tell, right? Like to me, I see them centering a lot of queer and trans people. I see more drag kings there. I see predominantly performers of color, right? I see them like inviting more disabled performers or making sure that that's like a part of it. And it's not necessarily like the marquee of what that party is about, but it is clearly how they move and create that space.
Yeah, because I want to like, there's like a fine line between like highlighting and tokenizing.
Totally. And so I think, you know, then we have Nikki Jizz.
Hello, Nicole Jizzington, friend of the pod.
Wow. Talk about royalty.
Forever reigning drag queen of the year.
Yes, right. Like on literal multiple levels, like has that title in many ways. You know, reparations feels like such a beautiful example of centering, of creating affinity. And it's not tokenizing because it is literally about reparations. Like it is, tokenization is that idea of like, I'm going to extract, I'm going to benefit. This is transactional. Whereas that is the flip. It's about compensating and being equitable towards these people, you know, towards like Black performers, Black talent that have been ignored, overlooked, right, gatekept. And so I think stolen from, right? Having this, you know, it's playful and also like Nikki is dead serious. And it's clear, right? That party's been around for years now. So I love that. I love
just won best drag show in the 48 Hills.
Yes,
Best of the
deservedly
Bay.
so, right? And I think Rollin with the Homos is another great example. Again, like Nikki, Mama, you know, this space is about
the
play, right? Like it's about silliness. It's about exploration. That was the first place I ever performed drag because I'm like, I get to rollerblade. Which to me, again, is, yes, that's a flat stage, but I actually feel more comfortable rollerblading than I do like running around and dancing. So it's like, not necessarily an obvious access feature, but it like, it's there.
Seeing you on wheels, it feels like an extension of you.
Well, I grew up skiing. I was skiing like, I started when I was 5. And so like that is such like in my body and it's just very fun to, rollerblading is like, gliding. It feels very like flying because it's like, you know, people are like, how do you do that? I'm like, I'm just pushing. Like, you know, I think there's like that kind of thing where people are like, you're so impressive. I'm like, I'm
all right.
I'm doing what I can. So I don't know. I think just when you say highs of how people approach creating space in the Bay and like drag, it's just like look to those spaces where you see joy, where you see that like infectious, just like that connection where everybody's there to lift each other up, that it's not about like trying to compete for that top spot or like clock in, clock out kind of energy. I think that is kind of like palpable I really miss like beef and vinyls. Like that was such a like space that you could tell people were like just so happy to be there. Our audience was so happy to be there. And
I know that was me and JP them's little friend date.
Yeah. It's such a, and so I'd say in terms of opportunities to grow, or things that I've seen in community that, I will like, this is the grain of salt. Sure. Like I'm a little baby producer. I've produced a couple of events, but I'm recognizing it is a lot of work.
It's so hard.
Right.
Oh my God.
So
when I put on my live show, I was like, oh my God, how do you guys do this?
What have I done? Why? Yes. Yeah. This is like very my DEI hat, right? From this like, nonprofit, all that kind of stuff is, I think there's often a lack of transparency that I find to be a little challenging in terms of getting booked or how people approach curating parties.
Yeah, yes.
I really admire Rebel Kings, right? And they're like, there's kind of seasonal application form where it's just like,
same with Oaklash.
Yeah. Submit. It's very clear like what they're looking for. You'll be contacted about how to, did you get it? If so, when? I know the Monster Show sends out like themes for like a couple weeks in advance. And so there's not a right way to do it. I think that there's something to be said about, particularly for new talent. And, if we think about access and privilege, if new talent is from multiply marginalized communities, like, do they feel comfort going to a producer and saying, can I get booked? Do you feel, if you haven't performed at all, or if you've only performed a few times, some of these things that I think people take for granted around, oh, just talk to me, just shoot me a DM. It's like that tiny interaction that is actually so monumental to be the difference of like having access to a space or not can be that one hurdle that keeps people out, right? And then you think about not just those isolated incidents, but then how it ripples out over time in a pervasive way. So for me, drag didn't feel in my realm of possibility because I so rarely saw any disabled drag artists. And so if people are taking this approach of, oh, just ask, we'll have you. It's like, but it doesn't look like you have people like me. So how would I know that you are
a space that's like open for somebody like
me? Open, excited, supportive, right? We know I'm like direct eye contact with the camera. We know that so many venues in the Bay are inaccessible. That's not a dirty little secret, right? That's really clear. And so if your parties aren't naming how you're trying to address access issues, or if you aren't being vocal about like, we want to book disabled talent, or we want more kings, or we don't have enough fresh like trans performers in the space, like name that, make it clear, make it like, who do you contact? How do they like to be contacted? It's totally fine if, I know spaces are like, I'm not going to book you if you don't come to my party.
I know.
That's fine.
Right.
But
exactly.
like make that known, or is it, I need to see you perform somewhere else, or, I love like the High Prince pageant. Like you have to have been performing for 5 years. Like I think some of these clear containers make it easier to make some of those critical decisions.
For
like,
sure.
Is this space one where I'll fit in? Is this space where just because the people are nice to me there, does it mean I'm going to be like held, taken care of? How much am I going to get paid? When will I get paid? Like I think a lot of these things start to take, I think the beauty of queer community is the fluidity and the like kind of like eschewing of corporateness. Right. So like I love the familial, like, oh girl, like I got you, like we'll figure it out, like kiki. But at the same time, I think we can do those things like how Oaklash does, where I don't feel like I'm engaging with like an institution, and I also feel very held. I feel very like there's thoughtfulness, there's intention, there's like it's very like meticulous and curated, and it's like I want more spaces, and that takes resources, right? So I know people are producing on their own, or I don't know how people do weekly parties. I'm like, I do maybe like annual, and it's hard. So
I know. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I can think of a couple of parties redacted off the top of my head that I'm like, how do people? Because it feels like it's the same people every week, but I don't know. That's just me spitballing.
Well, and so I think to that radical transparency, if you want, like I think about there's that drag bar in Nashville play, like they have a cast, so it's like you're not gonna get booked because you're not in our cast.
Yeah.
So like, what would it be like to just say, this is our cast?
Yeah.
You have to be a member of our cast to perform here.
Because then there's transparency.
Because then it's transparent. And then it's not like, then we aren't saying redacted. It seems like they're only booking the same people. It's like, well, of course they are, because that's the cast of the party. Right?
Tivana.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I love that. Well, with that, we're going to take our last little commercial break.
Okay.
We're going to come back for our final little gamelet, and we'll wrap up.
Yes.
But we love little Tivana sprinkles.
Just...
I hadn't thought about it like that. Now I'm like, okay, now I'm less cunty.
I mean, or more. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be so fun. This is a good time, everyone.
Speaking of good times, welcome to Queers on Dice.
It's a fucking dragon.
I'm sorry, Captain. Was that a below job or blow job?
We're gay. Do you get it? Did you figure that out yet?
Okay. And we're back. Okay, so this one is a little more forgiving. Still credit ChatGPT, but this one's gonna fly a little bit better.
The edible kind of like eased off a little bit.
It settled in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We ate a little bit.
We had hydration.
We had a good girl cookie.
Yes.
No, we had bad girl cookies. So I have a little gamelet called Butch or Queen.
Oh, fun.
Butch or Queen. And I'm just gonna give you a concept, and you tell me if it's Butch or Queen.
Oh, okay.
A leather jacket with spikes.
Oh, wow. This is going to be very hard. I'm going to say Queen. That's my instinct.
Oh.
Yeah.
A feather boa and tiara.
Ooh, yeah, Queen.
You're like, ooh, yeah,
Butch. Every time. I mean, I would love to see some Butches in that. Let's be honest.
Lip syncing to heavy metal.
Ooh. That feels Queen.
Okay. Wrestling themed drag performance.
Wow.
Depending on the party.
I was like, yeah, where?
Queen.
Yes, show me to me.
Super
yeah.
Queen.
Yes.
Power suit with heels.
Ooh. I like Butch for that.
Using power tools as props on stage. Shout out hands.
Yes, I was gonna say hands, like a corner.
It's hands.
Yes, cornering.
It's not even Butch or Queen.
No,
it's just hands.
The option C. Yes.
Wearing combat boots with a sequin dress.
Ooh.
Wearing combat boots with a sequin dress. Combat boots with a sequin dress.
That feels Queen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yes. Performing a ballad in a rhinestone gown. Performing a ballad in a rhinestone gown. Performing a ballad. If you haven't seen that TikTok trend, you're probably thinking I'm having like a seizure right now.
I'm just going with I'm yes ending.
Have you not seen
No,
it? Oh.
I can't be on TikTok because I'm already on my phone too much.
Oh yeah. So there's this whole trend where it's like it's very white girl coded, but it's silly. And so it's like, all the little white girls at the party, and then they all kind of do like a little song and dance to what they're wearing. So it's like little red dress and pink bra, little red dress and pink bra, little pink shirt and short pants, little pink shirt and short pants. And then but then one of them was like, it was funny because then you see like the two friends are like being really nice and cunty. Then they get to the third girl and they're like kind of dissing her. And then suddenly she pulls out a gun and she's like, cute little gun in a bag. Cute little gun in a bag. And they're like, yes, and whatever you say.
Yes. Yeah.
Last, but definitely not least, in Butch, Queen, or Hands. Voguing in a leather harness.
Ooh, Butch.
Oh.
I didn't even need to think about it.
Not Hands.
I would like to see that.
Me too.
Yes.
Make it happen, Hands.
Yeah, that's a Patreon exclusive.
Yes, for the exclusive. So, is there anything coming up that you're really looking forward to in the rest of the year? How excited are you to hand off?
Oh my gosh.
You're going to have it's not a
Step down.
dismount. Yeah.
Wait, a dismount is very funny. Maybe that's what I'll refer to it as. Well,
You can run a pommel horse.
Yes, listen, gymnastics is hot and
On trend.
Yeah, and I probably could.
You're welcome if you do it.
Yes, I'll make sure I'll like credit Mimi at the end. I am so thrilled for Butch Queen. I'm very excited. The package is in development right now for Step Down. I will tease Mud is going to be in my number.
Oh, so I'm so
that's,
excited.
you know, it's
then I'm definitely coming now.
Yes, please. Yeah, we're going to be giving some like Crip magic. I will just tease that.
I love that.
And
not as in the like blue and red.
Oh God, no. No, Crip is like the radical disability,
Yes.
you know. Yeah. What else? I mentioned Clutch of Pearls.
Yes.
For Sunday of November, Nip
Cute.
Slip. Very
Yes.
excited for that. What else do I got going on? I will say, I'm tickled because I'm also like a YouTube baby. Like I grew up watching like vloggers and all that kind of stuff. So I get to say that I have like a secret project that I like can't
Oh my God.
say things about, but I will say people who have been mentioned on the pod today are involved. We've got some grant money. We're very excited to be putting something together. We're going to be celebrating Blackness, queerness, disability. It's going to be like just I'm beside myself that I get to work with these
I'm
people.
so excited.
Yeah. That's definitely what I'm excited to be like cooking on. And I feel like my projects tend to kind of ebb and flow. It's, you know, drag is on top of me having part-time work, on top of me trying to build a career as a public speaker. So it's when I can do art and be involved in it, I'm very excited to do it. And sometimes there are like times where I truly can barely handle those things as you've experienced. So when I have the resources and capacity to create, it's like such a joy and also
such a blessing.
Yeah, it's a privilege. And so I also just am very happy to be a patron and squealing and throwing my dollars and just saying like, yeah, who can I support? So
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in a grant writing workshop.
Yes, more detour shout out. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I'm trying
Access
to
break.
manifest. I know, right? Access break. Ding, ding. I'm trying to manifest. I was keeping it very close to the chest, but Mama made me spill the beans.
Yes.
And now I feel like I need to keep talking about it so that it'll happen. But I really need to dive further down, deeper that grant rabbit hole, because I really, really want to start a pod network up here.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want to be able to like come to the table, to the Crumble, kids, and to the Queers on Dice,
to the Dice Divas,
to the Queers on Dice Divas. And I keep saying that we need the linchpin of the Dad Network. For as much as I think that me being the face of the Dad Network is such a key, we need a king. And so I keep saying it, that like, if you're a king out there and you like to gab and you maybe have thought about having a podcast and maybe possibly just need somebody to help you produce it, come talk to me, because I feel like that will help the pitch.
Yeah.
Like really button it
Solidify
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it identifies something that's missing, because there's a billion podcasts, but when I think of drag podcasts, I cannot think of anyone that's like a consistent, ongoing drag king podcast. So if you're out there, talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm out here trying to make bigger things happen.
Yeah. And I admire that spirit of manifestation and just like the vulnerability of putting it out there. I like just to offer you some affirmation. I feel like if anybody could galvanize community here behind that, I feel like your energy is so like I think about just like when I see you out, it's like I'm like, people take notes. Like Mimi is like, I feel like that when it's like those soft skills. Like it's hard to operationalize. Like if you're like make your party more inclusive, it's like what does that mean? You know, and I think just like people like you are the people that I'm excited to see out and about because it's like feels like a surprise. You're always so present. It always feels so genuine. It could be like 2 minutes. It could be 30 minutes. And so I trust that you like bringing people together under that umbrella would be so in service of like lifting them all up.
Yes.
And like it's clear you have that like growth energy of like let's all like rise and elevate and actualize.
Rising tides brings all boats up together.
Yes, this pirate ship is
exactly. I told you it's a pirate ship.
Yes.
So it's a democracy.
Yes, listen, I have yet to do a pirate number. I feel like it's like one of those things that in the wheelhouse of people like first thought kind of jokes of like you're an amputee, do a pirate number. And I'm like, I do feel like at some point I probably will do one to like have fun with it, but
please keep me in mind.
Yes, absolutely. Let's think of a pirate number, and then it could also be cross promo for the podcast. Yeah.
Mama did one at Fairyland when Oaklash had like a Fairyland thing. They did like that there's like that little pirate ship thing. They did a whole number there. It was so good. Mama, I'm obsessed with you. I adore you. I love you. You're
Mama.
like the light of my life. And Cody, your husband is the best too. I sometimes get to share you. Okay, so as we sign out,
Yes.
not only are we trying to manifest the dad network,
Yes.
another thing that I did manifest, and it is a thing, and and these episodes come out sometimes a little staggered and a little out of order. So this pitch for the Patreon has changed over time, but only in your benefit because I was learning the back end. So we have still a Patreon. It's still a Patreon. That hasn't changed. SOFEpod.com/Patreon. And we still have 3 tiers. And they're not TEARS. They're tiers.
Some people think that.
It was a joke in the episode 100.
Okay.
Because it went so off the rails.
I love that.
And we ended up crying. And I say that in one of these levels, if you want to see me cry, you can request it. So... my God, I don't know why I turned into such a goofball when it comes to the Patreon. I'm really good at promoting things, but for some reason the Patreon, it just turns into its own thing.
I get it, yeah.
So, we have a honey tier.
Okay, honey.
Yes, honey, named after my sweet little doggy. So, in the honey tier, what do you get in the honey tier?
What do we get?
You get a production credit. You get access to the back catalog that's currently being built. Some of those older episodes that were just audio episodes are slowly being locked away into the vault, very Disney style.
Get them.
So either get them while they're free, or you'll get them as part of the back catalog that's slowly being built.
Yes.
You also get behind the scenes content like Hot Cam that used to end up on the editing floor, and now you get to see it as Patreon exclusives. That is very Patreon exclusive. And you get a sticker in the mail. You get 1 sticker every month.
Those are cute.
And there's more coming, and there's more designed, and there's more than these already. These are just like the first ones that you get in the mail. You're going to get other ones, and I'm going to let you be surprised by those. And you get a cute little handwritten note from me.
What a touch.
And I'll even kiss it if you want.
Wow.
Or cry on it. Next, we have the sugar tier.
Sugar.
You get all of the things that you get in the honey tier: the production credit, the behind the scenes, the Disney style vault. But you get in the month, not 1, you get 2 stickers every month.
That's sweet like sugar.
In the mail.
Yes.
Every month. And a little note. And then we have...
There's more?
There's
What?
more. There's one final tier.
I can't wait to hear what it is.
The caramel tier.
Ooh.
Now, in this caramel tier, you get the production credit. You get the behind the scenes hot cam access.
Yes.
You get the Disney vault. You get 2 stickers in the mail.
Yes.
You get a note, but every 6 months... And these will change. So this is the 2024 H2 editions of these shirts. So you can only get these shirts if you sign up to the Patreon in the next couple of months, because if the 6 months run out and this new shirts, these are no longer available. It's right around the corner. It's like,
yes.
So we have, for this drop,
See, I was gonna say I can hold for you. Oh my goodness! Wow!
So for this drop, we
Look
have
at
the Who Needs a Vase Archie style comic cover T-shirt.
This is incredible.
I love this shirt. It's so cute. And the artist who made this, the cutest little Australian artist, Alpacalypse. It's like alpaca and an apocalypse. You can find them on Instagram. And the other shirt, so you get a choice. You get to pick out of these 2 shirts.
Wow. You're getting benefits and agency. Wow. As Tatiana would say.
Love choices. Yes. And then the other one, we have the Whisper Lounge T-shirt.
Wow.
And you get the cute little MeMeCherry with the little birdies whispering in her ear. And speaking of
Oh my gosh.
the Whisper Lounge, it's still a baby project.
Okay.
I still need more whispers, or I'm going to start going to Reddit, one or the other. But it's like therapy, but for free. You have a little something you want to unload.
Ooh, oh my God.
I'll take. Stop it, my God. different project.
Patreon exclusive. That's the OnlyFans. Yes.
That's OnlyPans. Do you want a flan?
OnlyFlans. Yes.
OnlyFlans. So the Whisper Lounge, SOFEpod.com/whisper is the new little spin-off podcast that I'm trying to put together. The whispers are coming. They're coming into the vault. But I need a few more little whispers before we can get our maiden voyage going.
Yes.
So if you have a fun little secret, you have a naughty little secret, you have something that's just, laying on your chest heavy like my phlegm.
That was good.
Ta-da! Unload it on me. And you know why? Because your secrets are safe with Mimi.
Oh, wow, that's good. Ding. Listen, we have been out. There are people who have a lot that they need to share.
SOFEpod.com/whisper.
Let it out.
You can send me a little written note. You can send me a PDF. You can send me, you could try a smoke signal. I might see it.
Those might get profane in the sky.
Just airplanes start flying by my apartment with notes on them. Oh, that's quite the secret.
Wow, that is lewd for 2 p.m. Wow. Okay.
Talk about a hot cam.
Hot cam. I'm gonna be very selfish and say that people apparently have crushes on me, but do not tell me. So this could be a great way for you to elicit.
Do you have a crush on Glamputee
or Mimi?
Or me?
Glampu Mimi. Maybe this is a hot pair. You wanna?
Hey. Patreon. Caramel level.
Yeah.
Do you want to see me and Glamputee bake?
Yes.
Something.
Anything.
Anything. Request it in the caramel tier.
Yeah.
Oh, duh! I forgot to say. That's that is the end of the joke. That you can request me crying or baking. In the caramel tier, there's also fan requests.
Yes. How could we forget people paying for your tears?
Want to see me cry?
Like, do you want to cry? Is that what you could just say it?
I just want to get paid to cry.
Yes. Cry on the clock.
Yeah.
That's my anti-capitalist note. Yeah. Should I have another access break?
Yeah, the final one. Yeah. Oh my God. I could talk to you for hours.
This is such a delight.
Okay, so when you walked in the door,
Yes.
you were feeling some kind of way.
Yeah.
Now we're done.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
As if not better than I thought. I love being in conversation, just in general. That's like, we are relational creatures.
Yes.
I just love relating by talking and listening, and I feel like you're so good at doing that, and so to get to share that with you in this space has been so lovely.
You're a pirate now on the glittery pirate ship radio show. Ding! Oh, and be on the lookout. Kagan, so many things to be on the lookout for. Kagan, who designed the new logo, is working on some designs for more little stickers, and I'm having him flesh out that glittery pirate ship concept.
That's very exciting.
So be on the lookout for glittery pirate ship merch.
First mate, somebody swap your poop jack, Glamputee is here for the job.
I mean, I do take loads.
Oh.
No longer the most H-word podcast in the video.
Listen, if there are seamen on the ship, I don't know. Yes, okay.
Fleet Week.
Just starting naming innuendos and non sequiturs.
Actually, have you ever been around for a Fleet Week?
Yes, they're horrible. Just the
like when all the sailors, no, but like when the sailors come in town.
It's hot in theory, but
I know it's very theoretically hot.
I don't. Another conversation for another day. I just don't think I'm the. I'm going to use the word faggot.
Okay. A British cigarette.
Okay, yes. When we're taking a smoke. I don't think I'm the kind of fag that speaks to that demo. Do you know what I mean?
I get it because, for a while, like the concept of like a man in uniform was kind of hot. Mm-hmm. And now I just see like little murder robots. Sorry. Hot take.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
I would offer you service, but it doesn't seem like you're
I just don't want you to murder me, but
yeah, or other people.
Yeah. And I'm being like extreme,
glib,
but
yeah.
It's just, like, because I see them on the dating apps and I'm just like, just like, have you gone to therapy? Have you like worked all this stuff out? Because you're literally being programmed by the government to literally be like, let's keep it funky, to be a killing machine.
Yeah. No, I feel like therapy in general, like people who have access or are seeking healing, that is all like zoom out, therapy.
I love how it all started with the poop deck.
I know, right? I'm just like, listen, if you're seeking healing, that's a turn on for me. Yeah. Okay. So get help, I guess is.
Yeah. Anyhow. Wow.
I know, like what a dismount, as you would say. Yes.
Okay, let's get on that pummel horse.
But you just say pummel horse? Now we know where Mimi's at. The Fleet Week brought it out.
I am feral.
Yeah, same.
It's been too long.
Yeah.
Although, in a good way, low key. But oh god.
It just.
Like part of me is like, do I see? The thing is that like my ex that I used to like bang it out to like clean out the pipes is no longer in the area, so I can't call him for that. And then like my last ex, like no, he can't be the one that like gets called for that.
Right.
And then like, do I have really hot friends? Yeah, but then like, do I want to go there with my friends? But like, do I want to like, I don't know, contract somebody?
Listen, sex work is work.
A 1099?
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be a great way to start referencing the sex workers, 1099s.
Wow.
As a former 1099?
You just see you posting on close friends. You're like, has anybody got some 1099s? Because these pipes could be refurbished.
Oh, just a little demo.
Okay. We're not looking for refurbishing. You said knock these walls out.
Knock them down. Make me like not need it for a while.
Okay.
I don't know. We've really gone
We've
somewhere.
really gone somewhere, and I love it.
I think this is where we touch tips. Say goodbye. Bing. Okay, no, but seriously, thank you. You're a dream. You're a dual. Such a pleasure to have you on the
Thanks for
show.
having me.
I'm so excited that you're a friend of the pod.
It's an honor.
And we need to plan a little merdays session with your rock band.
Yes. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. This is like my least favorite part of the show. Bye.
Bye.
MeMeCherry presents